Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Do what you love what you do. We're really just trying to end the year strong, and I was able to catch up with another good friend of mine. I went to grad school with. I met him at North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride, and our paths probably crossed a little bit earlier than that because he was right across the water in Norfolk State when I was at Hampton. So I'm pretty sure we bumped into each other at a party or a social gathering here and there. But without further ado, I got Coach Djax, Donovan Jackson, with us today. Coach, say what's up to our people.
Hey, what's going on, people? I feel honored to be here. I think the world of Jake, man, through our experiences in both undergrad and graduate school, and just looking to be able to contribute and support his vision, man. I think it's a good vision and it's an important vision. So, once again, man, I thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, man, we're really excited, man. For those who are watching or listening, I met Donovan, Coach Jackson at A&T. We went to grad school with each other, like I said, and from there, our relationship just took off. And our love for coaching, our love for children, our love for being mentors. We just had that connection. We had some heated battles in the A&T Corbett Gym, playing 3-on-3, 4-on-4. He's a tremendous athlete. And I'll let him share some of that with you. But he had some heated battles with some friends of mine that at Hampton, played O-line at Norfolk State. So we battled of the Bay every year for 4 years. And so that was a great experience. And he was able to play. I was watching in the stands and seeing Donovan do his thing, not knowing that our paths would cross later on. And he had to go against some big boys over there on that D-line at Hampton, boy. So, Donovan, tell us about that experience, man, and just speak on the importance of just building relationships, period.
Well, first and foremost, man, I came out on the losing end of those games every year. Matter of fact, I ain't beat Hampton one time, so that's a regret for sure. But more importantly, man, just relationships, man. It's the more I continue upon the path of just trying to be the best I can be in my profession. I'm just understanding the importance of networking and relationships. You never know who's who and who may know the person that you may need to facilitate, whether it's that discussion or that interview to get that job. So it's important to make sure that you do your due diligence, not only in trying to master and be the best that you can be, but also making sure that you appreciate and you understand the importance of relationships. And once you establish the relationship, make sure that you put forth the time to maintain it.
Yeah, man, that's real important, man. And that's one of the notes I definitely want you to hit on. And I definitely want you to start. Let's back up a little bit. Let's talk about your background, your upbringing. Where you were from. How has that played a role in the man you are today and you are becoming?
Well, I'm from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Anybody know anything about Winston? It's not the biggest of places, but I definitely fulfilled my need at the time. I'm raised by a single parent mother and a grandparents. So wasn't necessarily your conventional family upbringing, but nevertheless, man, God has a unique way of supplying your need, and He did that with me. So at a very young age, man, I heard the stories of my father. I had a chance to spend a few times with him, not a lot, but he was a great athlete, played at big bars. I think it's fair to say that ghost stayed with me throughout my youth, just trying to live up to those expectations athletically, along with being motivated to make sure that I did what I needed to do for my family. So just that upbringing of having those pressures and wanting to do well by my folks. And, that's pretty much what propelled me through my youth, man. I ended up going to Parkland High School, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, played on the line and started and we ended up winning the state championship, man, the first in school history.
Yeah.
My junior year. And shortly after that, man, I ended up getting, I think I had maybe 5 scholarship offers my senior year, and I ended up taking Norfolk State. Um, that was a great experience for me, man. Being able to get away from home a little bit and spread my wings and put forth a lot of the teachings that my family had tried to instill in me throughout my growth. So, at the end of the day, man, it wasn't conventional, but it was definitely a background and a process that I think was very pivotal to who I am today.
Back-to-back guests who were raised in single parent who are doing great things. So I commend the queens, our mothers, man, who are doing excellent jobs out there raising young black men to be the best that they can be. And saying that, Coach, man, the name of the show is Do What You Love, Love What You Do. What does that mean to you, Coach?
Uh, First and foremost, man, you have to. It's very important, man, that you love what you do. Uh, and the reason why I say that is because there are challenges with everything that you think of, as it pertains to just process and just with life, period. Um, so if you don't understand why you're doing what you're doing and you don't love doing it, then you're not going to be motivated to get through that tough day. Um, there's an old saying that you want to be able to do what you do and be able to do it for free if need be. And I think once you find that, then you will know that, you have reached your purpose. Um, so very important, man. You loving what you do, ultimately will be what propels you through those rainy days. And it'll give you a sense of purpose. Even if it's not necessarily the most financially rewarding job, you will reap the benefit from the intangible things that you're getting from doing that job.
Yeah, man. So we talk about on the show all the time about finding our passion and knowing our purpose. When did you realize what your passion was and your purpose? I mean, you were on the path to go to the NFL. I mean, I remember you telling the stories. You workout regimen. NFL scouts coming to check y'all out. What happened when those dreams were shattered, and what did you have to do to really say, hey, man, Donovan, did you take time, or how did that process work in your life?
It was a tough process, a tough pill to swallow, simply because like I had alluded to earlier, I chased that ghost for a while with my father and wanting to feel as if I fit the mold, I fit the criterias of being his son. So when I didn't make it, it was a tough pill to swallow, not only for myself, but just thinking about the things and aspirations I had to be able to provide for my family, my mother, and to be able to try and provide some type of comfort for the circumstances we had as a family. But to be honest with you, man, it's kind of crazy how us as black males, man, we tend to put a lot of a premium on athletic success. And I don't think I deviated from that at all, man. I was a part of the ones that felt like if I didn't make it, then it was a failure. But I had a gentleman by the name of B.W. Hope, who is probably the third winningest football coach in North Carolina. He's seen coaching in me, man. Straight out of Norfolk State, brought me in, hired me as a football coach and as an educator. And the rest was history, man. So I started seeing kids and started seeing some of the same level of desire and ambition in them as I had in myself. And to me, it was very rewarding seeing a kid that was receptive of the knowledge that I was able to provide and actually able to utilize it for their betterment. So that's kind of how I took it. It kind of transcended from sadness and grief to starting to slowly but surely understand my purpose.
Yeah, man. And I remember you coaching, man. I remember the grind. I was coaching basketball at the time. Another friend of ours, Daryl Harris, Dr. Daryl Harris now he was coaching as well. And so y'all two were in that grind, in that young coaching mode, trying to make your way to that, start your own program. And so you got that opportunity, man. I remember the phone call. I remember you telling me you thought you had a good shot at it. And you end up being the first black coach at that high school at Northeast in Guilford County. I mean, at the time, I think you were under 30 years old. You were under 30 years old, right?
Yeah, I was 27.
27, yeah.
So
Tell
youngest
us
head
about
coach
that
in the
experience.
state.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Man, first and foremost, man, it was a blessing. Because the school, a lot of rich tradition. The head coach prior to me had been there 20 years, and he had established all the school's history. So the school it went through some transitioning. They had to, North Carolina, they do realignment with conferences and stuff, and the school left from the conference that they was in and went into arguably one of the hardest 3A conferences in the state of North Carolina. A lot of steep competition with the likes of Northern Guilford and Eastern Guilford, and a lot of teams that have known to be perennial powerhouses in that conference. So just understanding those pressures associated with that job. At the time, Jake, I'm gonna be honest with you, I did the best that I could do under those circumstances at my age. We had kids that was used to winning and didn't quite understand why we didn't experience the winning the way they were used to winning. But I'm gonna be honest with you, man. It was a learning curve unlike no other. It was something that allowed me to grow up fast. And I think the biggest thing that I got out of it was God took me down to ground zero, and he forced me to look myself in the mirror and look at my complete circumstance and say, Don, what is it that you want to do? This is my purpose I have for you. And this is what he revealed to me. He revealed to me that this was not necessarily meant to be a permanent situation. This was meant for you to look and see the potentials that you have and move forward. And that's what made it a little easier to deal with once I left Northeast Guilford. I walked into a situation that at one point in time I had never really seen myself in as a Division I college football coach. Mm-hmm. And when I walked into that, that's when I really started understanding why I went through what I went through. As a young head football coach faced with adverse challenges. I say that to say this, man. It was a great experience. If I had to do over again, I would definitely do over again because some of the people I met during that process were great. The kids were great. Mr. Williams' administration was great. Like I said before, it was just one of those situations where a situation at a particular time might have been too much for what I was prepared for. But God used it and made beauty for my beauty with my ashes, and prepared me for my next venture at Savannah State.
Yeah, man. Speaking of that, so you got to be the Division I college coach, right? I remember you was at Savannah State doing your thing. The recruiting process, you got to experience that. You were once recruited, so I think you wasn't too far from the recruiting strategies used. So I think you did a great job doing that, and what you accomplished at Savannah State, and bringing in some players, some key players. And after that, I get a phone call from you, and you tell me you're going to the NFL, coach. I didn't know what you feel like. You thought you was gonna play, or I didn't know what you was talking about. But then I said, "Wow, man, that's crazy. You got accepted into an internship, if I remember correctly." And so tell us about that. How did that even come about? And why would they even pick a high school coach to do an internship in the NFL?
Well, when I left Northeast, man, God gave me the vision right then. He said, Don, I think that your current circumstance, I think you're selling yourself short. He said, I think that you have higher levels of football in you. You just need to step out of your comfort zone and pursue them. So What I started doing, I started applying for jobs, left and right. My head coach at the time that coached me at Norfolk State was still at Norfolk State. So I finished out the year with them on an intern basis as an assistant offensive line coach, traveling to and from games, preparing myself, investing in my craft. And that job propelled me to Savannah State. So when I got to Savannah State, uh, it's crazy, man, but it's like I knew right then that, man, this is what you had for me, God. I got into it and it was like it was natural. I was able to meet with my guys and they was receptive. And, man, we accomplished great things at Savannah State. Even though we only won one game that year, man, that one game snapped over a 20-something game losing streak. And there were about 3 or 4 games we were in the thick of it. I ended up starting 3 true freshmen up front, and 2 of them made all conference. We finished in the top 5 in rushing and sacks in the history of Savannah State that year. And those different types of accomplishments we had, man, that allowed me to be selected to the NFL Coaches Academy in Tampa. That's where it started. I got a chance to go there. They only choose maybe 36 out of the nation to go. I got a chance to speak to Tony Dungy and Mike Sherman, former Green Bay head coach, and Charlie Casserly, who was a former GM of the Redskins and NFL prominent figure. And just hearing those different guys speak, man, and they said something to me, Jake, that I have taken with me even to today. They said, find you a mentor, a guy that will answer your calls. Just a guy that you speak to here and there, but a guy that when you have something, a question or a concern, or just need some guidance, they actually take the time for you. And I found that mentor, Jake, man, and it ended up being a guy that I knew from previous years that coached me at Norfolk State. That was with the Jets, and I ended up running into him down at the scouting combine, and man, the rest took care of itself, Jake. Man, he put me in, and I applied for the internship. Found out that I got it, and got a chance to meet Coach Bowles and that staff and work with them, and just try to put my best foot forward there, man. And it was a humbling experience, man, coming from thinking about not even being 2 years removed from being a head high school football coach to now walking out of MetLife Stadium around Darrelle Revis and Brandon Marshall and all those guys, man. It was something that really kind of opened my eyes in a sense, man, and really showed me the power of faith and just believing, that you can do it, if you put your best foot forward. So it was a great experience.
Yeah, man, that's crazy that that happens so fast. And sometimes I think, when our dreams do become a reality, it's an unbelievable feeling. And so it gives you that extra momentum to keep going. Now I know what you're thinking, NFL head coach, and so, I know you're taking the steps to get that done. But tell me about, man, what did it feel like? How did you approach the leadership part of it, being that some of those guys were older than you, that were on the team, and you were coaching, in the O-line and in meetings, breaking down film, and you had to coach them, probably they maybe more knowledgeable than you in the game. They're actually playing the game, and you younger than them. How did you have to develop your leadership skills and build that rapport with them so that they would listen?
Well, coaching is just like anything else. First and foremost, you got to be a people person. You got to understand relationship, the dynamic of relationships, and understanding your clientele and how to approach them. Secondly, at that level, man, it's all about knowledge, man. If you can help me, even if it's just a tad little bit of, my footwork or this or that, anything that you can find to help them that can better their overall product, they're interested. So first and foremost, the first step, and this not only applies to coaching, but this is just in dealing with people, period. First and foremost, you have to garner their respect and their trust. Once you do that, show them that you are transparent and you're a genuine person, then they're going to be more receptive to hearing and listening and to what you have to say. So that was my approach. First and foremost, I didn't go in trying to teach them and tell them what to do. I went in trying to let them know, little fellas, I'm here to help. Sit here and I'm gonna watch. I respect your process, but I'm here to watch and I'm here to see what you're doing. And if it's anything that I see that can make your product even better, then I hope that you would receive it. And I think that level of humility is ultimately what takes you a long way in coaching and dealing with people. Period. So that was my approach, Jake. And like I said before, man, I went in and found me a couple guys, that really was receptive. I had a couple rookie guys that had just been drafted, and as a rookie, you kind of low in on the totem pole. So
Right.
you're trying to make the team, and I just kind of worked with them guys and tried to help them out. Guys like Nick Mangold and those guys, they vets, man. I might tell them here or there, hey, man, we did this, blah, blah, blah. But for the most part, majority of my time was spent with those rookies, man, and those guys, free agents that was trying to make the squad, man, and trying to get all the help that they could get.
Yeah. And so you experienced that, the jet life, literally the jet life, and then you went to the West Coast on your boy. You went to your West Coast on your boy. So you left all the way East Coast, all the way West Coast, end up at the Chargers. Real quick, how was that? What was the difference? Could you see your own personal growth when you left, a little more confident?
I could, man. West Coast was definitely a different experience. My first trip to the West Coast. I ended up going out to the LA Chargers. They at the time they were in the middle of the transition, so they invited me out for minicamp, which was in San Diego, and then they flew me back out for training camp, which was in LA in Costa Mesa. So West Coast life period was different for me. Great weather, so that part was very enjoyable. But just getting a chance to be around that group, I really think that they have a great group as well. Phillip Rivers, man, I felt very privileged to have been around him and just look at the way he went about his daily routine. Antonio Gates, those guys, man, just having conversations with Gates, after practice and during practice. One thing I realized, man, they're people just like we are, man. They've overcome circumstance and, some things, some experiences that I definitely I'm appreciative of having to be able to do it there in LA.
Yeah, man. So at your young age, man, you've experienced a lot, just been blessed, tremendously blessed, and I'm just happy to be be that support for you. Keep it up with you. I'm very proud of you and the things you have accomplished and the way you just stay focused, man. It keeps me accountable, because now I know that coaches not only coaches watching what I'm doing, but he's gonna hold me accountable too. So now I'm not gonna let you quit on your dreams. I know if coach see me slacking, I'm gonna get a text or a call. Hey Jake, you need to pick it up. What you doing? You got a family to feed. I know I got a few guys in my phone that's gonna call me and put me in check. And so you doing what you're doing. Is you walking the talk. You walking the talk, and you've always been the man to do that ever since we met. So definitely proud of you, Coach Jackson, again, and thank you for being on the show. One thing I want you to talk about this as well. And so at one point in your life, probably about 10 years ago, you were getting ready for the NFL draft. So you're probably in the best shape of your life. And then life happens, and we gain a few pounds. And, you say as you living good, you eating good. So, we doing our thing. We got salary jobs. At the time, we didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. You even bought your first house. I remember that joint was dope. Had the player man cave down there, bachelor pad. That was sweet, man. Everybody was, enjoying life, brother. So we gained a few pounds. The last couple of years, Coach, I seen you starting to take your health a little bit more serious. and actually almost getting back in game shape is what I call it. And so how was that journey, and why did you make that decision? And how do you fit that in your schedule mentally? How was it, just getting back into that grind that you did 10 years ago?
Well, first and foremost, the grind wasn't like it was 10 years ago. But the thing about it, Jake, man, it kind of woke me up, man. I sat and I looked and I said, man, I'm investing so much time and so much effort into these kids. When am I going to take time to invest in myself? Sometimes you can give so much of yourself that you feel like you have very little, to actually invest in you. So that was the first thing that ignited it and started it. Secondly, you chasing your dreams, man, and what good does it do you to spend a great portion of your life chasing your dream, and then when you get there, you're not 100% able to enjoy it or sustain it for a period of time due to health. So it's been a journey for sure, man. But I definitely have become a little more cognizant of the importance of taking a little time for me, and understanding the importance of that and what's required for me to perform at top level, So weight has always been an issue of mine. I've always been up and down, and right now it's nothing more than just me trying to establish a little more consistency, not only in my workout regimen but in my eating habits, because there's a saying, you are what you eat. So that's the type of focus that I've tried to invest in that portion. And another thing that's really triggered it was just going to these NFL camps and being there, spending time with these people and see the way they live their lives, man. Every meal is a fruit and vegetable and very little fried foods, and everything's catered to them, and they have everything organic and all that type of stuff at their fingertips 24/7 at the facility. So just seeing these people, these world-class athletes and coaches, seeing how they're treating their bodies and comparing it to how I was accustomed to treating mine, that kind of really raised awareness to what I wanted to do too moving forward.
Yeah, man, I think it makes a difference. It makes a big difference. When we're able to get our bodies right for the grind that we on. You see my shirt says the grind don't sleep 24/7. So we own it, man. Like, we spend time doing things in the middle of the night, in the mornings. I know when I first started coaching, I had just gotten married, I was put in a position where I had to do JV, varsity assistant, scout games, and break down film. And so, my nights in the bed, I'm on an iPad looking at game film, looking at, scouting games, and you would, if I wasn't, physically able to take that, man, that can really take a toll on your body. And so as we get older, at the time we were young, so we can do it. At our age now, coach, this is right at age right now where a lot of athletes start to retire. You see a lot of injuries. It's the same thing for us.
Yep.
It's the same thing for us as we continue to do that daily grind. So I really think it's very important for entrepreneurs, people out there like me and you who are searching for opportunities every day, that we have to stay physically ready, and that plays into our mental role too. We have to be strong mental wise as well to be able to take on those 14, 16-hour work days.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you went through that through training camp, man. How did you prepare yourself mentally to get through those 14, 16-hour days?
First and foremost, it was a matter of, to be honest with you, Jake, when you feel like you're fighting for your life, man, anything goes, man. Made quite a few sacrifices for those opportunities, man. And that doesn't exclude, forfeiting jobs, just to be able to put my best foot forward. So when you look at the complete picture, man, and what's riding on it, to what some people would consider a lifetime opportunity, you're willing to do whatever it takes, man, just to make sure you put your best foot forward. So first and foremost, that was what propelled me through those days. Secondly, just being able to get up and normally what I would do is get up at about 5 or 6 and spend a little time spiritually, Just kind of letting God know what my intention was and what I wanted to see happen, and just getting in the right mindset. Mentality and mindset plays a huge role in what you're able to accomplish, and it does affect you physically. Some people don't understand the importance of mental preparedness and being focused, as you said, mentally. But I think those things were definitely contributors to being able to get through and work those hours. In addition to, just coaching period, man. Even I can remember days being a high school head coach, man, where I would spend 10, 12 hours in my office just trying to prepare and lay the foundation for my team and for that particular game. So wasn't necessarily something I wasn't accustomed to, but just the grind and the consistency of it was something that mentally you had to be prepared for.
Yeah, man. I think that's huge. I think that's huge, man. Um, so we're gonna definitely end the show. We're gonna end the show right here, Donovan. And I want you to leave us to our viewers and our listeners. If you had to give yourself advice 10 years ago, if you're looking at a 21-year-old Coach Jackson, maybe about to finish undergrad, and maybe they don't know which direction they want to go. Maybe they graduate with a major that they're really not interested in, and they haven't found their purpose or sought out that passion. Um, what would you tell that young 21-year-old?
Well, first and foremost, um, what I would tell that 21-year-old or myself would be be quick to listen and slow to speak. First and foremost, because at that age, that's an age where you kind of starting to feel as though you know it and you figured it out. And I was even guilty of that myself. So now looking back at it, about 11 years older. Um, First and foremost, man, be quick to listen and slow to speak. Secondly, don't be afraid to accept help, quality help. There are people that are put in place to help you. And from an ego standpoint, sometimes we're afraid to take help. We rather figure it out ourselves. But I hadn't met a person yet that hasn't had somebody to help them along the way. So don't necessarily be afraid to accept help. Thirdly, be very selective of your friends.
Mm.
I know it was a saying I've heard a lot of people say, but you show me your friends, I show you your future. And those years between 21 to 31 or what have you, those are pivotal years because that's where you're laying your foundation professionally. So although you will have some fun, you will have some experiences, those years aren't to be taken for granted because if you play your cards right, those years could put you in a great position ahead of the game, so to speak. Um, and you'll be grateful for that. And lastly, man, trust the process, man. Everybody has a story. Everybody has had to deal with adversity. One word that I like to hang my hat on is resiliency. It ain't about when, if adversity is going to come. It's about when. When will it come, and will you be prepared? Are you going to be resilient, be able to continue moving forward? Anything worth having is worth fighting for, literally. So you have to be prepared for the fight. And in order to be prepared for the fight, you have to just understand, man, and be focused on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So don't give up on your dreams, man. Be selective of your friends. And whatever you do, man, just try to put your best foot forward and don't give up.
Yeah, man, that's great. That's a great topic, man. Trust the process. I think. I know that's been our motto the last couple of years. I know Joel Embiid and the Sixers. They say it all the time. I say it, and I tell my players that, especially when you got new players coming into the program, and like you said, at that age, even at that young age, they think they know it all. You know, and in our lives, it's a process. In our marriage, it's a process. Being a father, for me, it's a process of learning things every day. Being a better man, Everything is a process. And like you mentioned earlier, man, find a mentor. Find a mentor. Find somebody who has the life that you desire. Ask them how they got it, and listen to them. And listen to them. And, not saying you're going to be a copycat, but listen to the principles and their belief system, and how they go about their daily grind. You pick and choose what fits your mode and what fits your belief system. So again, for all our viewers on there, the show is going to be on iTunes, YouTube. If you like this show, go ahead and share it. Share it on all social media outlets. You'll see Coach Jackson's IG at the bottom of the video, and you can follow him on Instagram, follow his journey, continue to support this young man on his way to becoming an NFL coach. And we're just looking forward to watching him grow. And Coach Jackson, God bless you, man. Have a happy New Year. Thank you for being on the show.
Yes, sir, man. Thank you. Likewise, Jake, man. Good luck with everything, man.